मुखाम्बुजं पीताम्बरधरं नीलं माल्यचन्दनभूषितम् राधाचित्तचकोरेन्दुं सौन्दर्य सुमहोदधीं परात् परतरं देवं ब्रह्मानन्द कृपानिधिम् ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। In this prayer, as we say, Bhagavad Gita, Bhavadveshini. Bhavadveshini is, Bhava here represents, actually, etymologically it means coming into being. What actually it connotes is coming into a separate identity, separate existence than the world. So you break the oneness, as it were, and thus this is, you are in samsara, or this world. And it is being here in this way is the reason for your suffering. And so Bhagavad Gita is called here Amba, that our true mother, and she cares for the well-being of the children. So she takes away the cause of their suffering by removing this so-called individuality, I and mine, this world of all fluctuations, all torments. There is no release from it if we keep our separateness. And that is why human beings are caught always in this another conflict, that to be with society, human beings, social animal. So we want to form connections, we want to have friends, and we want to be, connected to people around, and want to form special relationships. So that is a natural tendency. But there is other tendency that also comes in. We get irritated by the behavior of others around us. And so we want to be left alone also. We want to be alone, and yet we don't want to be alone. It is, see the situation, how conflicting it is, that when we are alone, we want company. When we don't, we don't want company, and we want company. Both are there. So that is why when we want company, we don't want simultaneously. It is, say, how can you resolve this issue? Even when you are very closely related, still you say, well, leave me alone. It is a common expression, I want my space. I asked one gentleman, well, why has your brother, his brother went to another city, that, well, his wife told him she needs space. Well, I didn't know the meaning of this expression then. So she told him she needs space. So I said, well, need space, they have a big house, what is there, it is. Then he explained me, the needing of the space means she doesn't want him to be around, so it is. And yet, well, she wants him to, but it is very big conflict. It is, we want to be alone, and yet we want to be with company. Why? Because actually in reality we are one. There is no separation at all. This separation is an illusion. I and world. This separation is in Vedanta called a superimposition. Really there is no separation. We perceive I and world, but we can never show a demarcating line where I ends and world begins. Try as much as you can and go all the way, exhaust all your skills. You will see that you cannot really draw a separating line between I and the world. Because such a line does not exist. It is all one. So, therefore, multiplicity, the awareness of I and world, it really hurts and creates conflicts. So this is the next level of conflict that we are going to take up after in the first and beginning of second chapter, that we saw that there is a conflict between our rationality and our emotions, our these resolutions and decisions that we have taken considering many factors and decided that this is what we need to do. But then suddenly there is an upsurge of some emotions and we realize that how many entanglements we have in life. They become known only when there is a time to break them. Till then we feel that we don't have that many entanglements, but they are at such a deep level. You don't see them, but they are there. So when you want to break, you know how strong these bonds are, and they start telling you, you cannot get away from this. You whatever resolutions you might have had, whatever decisions you might have taken, but no, you have to hold on to these attachments. To get rid of attachment is very difficult. It is easier said than done. They torment you, but still you cannot get rid of them. Somehow you still want to hold on to these things. So even though, as Sri Ramakrishna used to give that example, that a camel eats the thorny bushes and then their mouth bleeds, but yet cannot give up eating those thorny bushes, because what it is happening is that it is feeling gradually a taste of it and feels nice about it. Actually there is no nutrition in those thorns as such, but it is eating its own blood, so feels, wow, nice, it is. And it is a similar case with us to all these bondages. They are bondages, but we don't want to get rid of them. So they interfere with our decisions. So Lord tells that you have to be strong. This is the first very important lesson that was given in conflict resolution. And don't succumb to weakness, and thus you can see the light. The moment you succumb to weakness, then the conflict gets complicated further. It is therefore once you succumb, then you have to succumb more time. It becomes that other force becomes stronger. So therefore you keep on succumbing again and again. But once you stand strong, that let it happen, let us see what happens. And then you will see that the conflict then resolves. So strength is the main important thing. Make the personality strong. It is in the face of all these emotional conflicts, you have to strongly hold on to the judiciously whatever you have decided. And that was in this case what Arjuna, in consultation with everybody, giving a deep thought, had decided that I have to fight this war, and it is only the emotional entanglements that is making Arjuna speak like a saint. So that is what Sri Krishna points out, that Arjuna, you are talking big philosophy, but you are not worthy of that speaking like this, because your behavior is like a foolish person. It is like little children. Sri Ramakrishna gives that example. They hear their parents and elders speaking such words, and then they don't understand the meaning of it. But still they start using it, just hearing those words from them. So now those words really, they don't mean anything to them, but they use that. So Arjuna also is using all these, parroting all this philosophy. But he really is, as Krishna points out here, that you are weeping for those bodies, they die, while you are speaking like a wise saintly person. The saints understand the difference between what is going to die and what is not going to die. So this opens a door for all of us to think of this very important idea, and Bhagavad Gita presents it with such clarity, such very, down to earth examples you can see, and these examples therefore are being quoted in all various different parlors of argument. That one is this, that look, you see that you remain the same in spite of so many changes. The body is subject to change all the time. So in a way it is dying every moment. There is no way to arrest the death of body. You think that you are going to kill them or they are going to kill you. That is not correct. It is the death is going to happen. It is you are not in the capacity to kill anybody, because the self does not die. It is the body that alone dies. So he gives the example here, and we can all relate to it. That verse is that as Kaumaram Yauvanam Jara Tatha Dehantara Prapti, that right in this body you see these stages. A little child, everybody here can see that I was a little baby. My parents used to carry me, and then I started growing. That very person that was being called a baby now gets called a child, then gets called a youth, and gets called a fully grown up person. That very person gets called old. Now in all these stages we never wonder, hey, how it happened. It is taken naturally that is how it is going to happen. So also death is just the next link in this chain. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Dehina, it is, see this differentiation between the deha means body and dehi, and the indweller of the body. And these two things have to be separately understood. That the one reason of conflict is confusion between the two. That like a house and indweller of house, we understand the difference between them. So also one should understand the difference between the body and the indweller of the body. I am not the body, otherwise I would have also changed with the body. I do not. I still say it is I. Same I. So there is an unchanging something that relatively speaking remains unchanging while the body is undergoing change. A difference between the body and the indweller of the body, Dehi and Deha. A very important separation. In Vedanta, therefore, you will see that there is the Vyasa's aphorisms called Brahma Sutra. It is one of the very important texts we have for Hindus. We have this 3 texts, they are called Prasthana Traya. These 3 are Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra. They are called Prasthana Traya. Prasthana means what you take with you while you are on a journey to support you. Like you take a water bottle, a few snacks, some money with you. One child like our Vitthal, they were asking in school, suppose you are going on a journey and you are allowed to take only one book. Which book will you take? And a bright boy like him replied, I will take checkbook. So, if you are allowed to take only one book, I will take a checkbook. So it is. So all that it is, you take with you for journey to support yourself. While on travel, I may need. So life is a travel, a journey. So for your support during the journey, you take recourse to these 3 texts, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra. So Brahma Sutra, it is considered a Nyaya Prasthan, means all the different teachings of Upanishads, they have been arranged in such a way that it forms a consistent philosophy. When the Upanishads are being given, they are given to a particular student very spontaneously according to the questions of the student. But then do all Upanishads together form a consistent philosophy? Yes. So Vyasa in these Brahma Sutras arranged them, all the different sayings in different Upanishads according to the topics, and thus gave it a philosophical look, so that you understand all the different that ideas and concepts in Vedanta. So this text is called by Shankaracharya as the Shariraka Sutra. Shariraka means Sharir and Shariri, the body and the indweller of the body. Sharir and Shariri, one who dwells in Sharira. Sharira is body. So to separate them, to learn that they are different, not same, just as a house and indweller of the house are not same. And the house may get burnt, but the indweller may not be hurt by that. It is the indweller might be away at that time or escape. So house getting burned doesn't mean the indweller getting burned. It is so the body getting born, going through all different stages of growth, and then perishing. In all this, the indweller does not change. Indweller remains the same. So this is an important teaching that we have to absorb. That and he gives this very commonly perceived thing as example. Dehinosmin, asmin dehe, dehinaha means that dehi, the indweller, goes through all these stages. Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara. These childhood, then youth, old age, all these stages. So the next link in this chain, tatha dehantara prapti. Here the word used is very nice, not death, but dehantara prapti, that taking another body, this body is no more usable, so you take another body. This body is now old, requires too much of maintenance, unreliable, just like car, that my car, you will think it is having often breakdowns, and already 20 years old, has put on 300,000 miles, and is not how much I can stretch it. Also I cannot, it takes lot of maintenance, lot of money is put into it. Why? Let me get a new one. Time to get a new one. So just like the vehicle, this body is a vehicle. It is, you used it for a pretty long time. It is whatever it may be, but it is no longer usable. So you discard this body and take another one. It is so simple as that. It is so dhiras tatra na muhyati. Those who are intelligent, wise, and do we not want to be wise? We all want to be wise, isn't it, Olina? You want to be what? Dumb? Wise. Exactly, yeah. You don't want to be dumb, you want to be wise. So all of us want to be wise, you see. So it is, so wise, what do they see? They see that the indweller and the body, they are different. The body will keep on changing, and the indweller therefore remains, it is same. And so when the body reaches a stage that it cannot be used anymore, and the teeth have gone, can't eat much, the limbs have lost all the strength, it's a burden to have that body, like a old useless car that doesn't run, occupies space in the garage and or whatever, and it is of not much use. So you get another one that is always advisable. So here also it is, the advice is your indweller gets this idea that enough of this body, let me get a new one. So why worry about it? It is this war or that killing. Remember that it is not that you are killing anybody, you are doing your righteous duty that you have understood that you have to do. Nobody is killing or getting killed. This understanding that it is a person is different from the body is very important, and that resolves many of the conflicts. And so Lord gives the many examples here to show that Veda vinashidam nityam ya enam ajamavyayam, that no Veda, this indweller avinashinam, it does not get destroyed at all. There is no concept of destruction there. So this word does not become applicable. It is applicable only to body. That which has come together has to disintegrate. So, and that is how body disintegrates. So it is only applicable to body. That which is not a compound doesn't get disintegrated. So that idea doesn't come to the or applicable to the indweller. So this separation, understanding the two things are separate, is very important. And then the question comes that it all sounds good. Another level of conflict comes here. It sounds good, but sounds pretty theoretical. I mean, can it be put into practice? Is it possible that we can actually experience this? Because only this intellectual spinning is one thing, but experiencing things practically is different. So can this be practically experienced? And this question comes. And we find it very difficult. I tell many places that one very enterprising young lady asked me this question after some similar retreat, that well, Swami, all you say is okay, but it does not work in the real world. All that truthfulness and openness, that doesn't work. In the real world, you have to be street smart and so forth. So in the real world, all those things don't now it was very difficult for me to tell her, because she wouldn't see that what she calls real world is a fleeting world. It is unreal world that is being called a real world. Secondly, it works here very well. It is a misperception that it doesn't work. It works. Certain things will be, you see, working, certain things won't work according to your desire. Here, you desire, but doesn't mean that things will, you alone have desires. Others also have similar desires. And you apply for a job, somebody else is also applying. So, who will get, depends. So, it is not that because you were truthful, so you lost the job. Not necessarily. It is, and truthfulness, honesty are very important things, even in this unreal world. So, they work. But she was not in the frame of mind at that time to appreciate that because one sees that there is so much injustice happening in the world, and everybody somehow or other, this is a funny contradiction, everybody feels I am the victim. I suffer here because I am truthful. All those others, that they cheat, they are dishonest, and they do not do their work properly. But they are having, fine thing. They get money and they have all nice things, and so they are always somehow managed to please their bosses or people who matter, and they are very good. Whereas I speak the truth, and so I suffer because of that. Okay, what it means is you really don't have regard for truth. You are speaking truth, but not for the sake of truth. You are trying to speak the truth, but you want something and something else, and you think that if you speak truth, you should get that also. That may not happen. Truth is a value in itself. So, it is this world has cast such a spell on us, in spite of its inherent contradictions and conflicts, we see this as real. So, Arjun is thinking that it all sounds rational, that the body and indweller of the body, but where is that indweller? It is only an idea that you are throwing at me, and maybe intellectually, rationally, it is appealing that yes, the body changes, but something is not changing. It is true that unless there is something unchanging, you cannot perceive the change also. So there is something unchanging, but how can I see that? It is many times rationality does not have a practical, tangible, experiential confirmation. In fact, the experience teaches tells something else than rationality. There is a nice book I was reading, a book of it's a mathematics book of inequalities. That how, by engineering calculations, you will come to one understanding. But the practical experience is different. It is that where would be the maximum load. One of the examples given is this. If you have a heap of, say, crushed stones. It is now where will be the point on the ground which will have the maximum load. Naturally they write down from the top, that it is where the thing becomes a heap from the point that is the topmost, and if you go down right perpendicular there, it should have the maximum load. The logic makes things appear like that, but those who deal with it, they know that it is not there. It is slightly at a different point that you get the maximum load. That is how the logic does not always prove right. It sounds very logical that the logic works like that with analogies. So many times when I give analogies, one professor tells me, "Swami, your analogies are great. I am so scared of them." Because scared means I don't really want to accept the conclusion. But because your analogies are so good that I will be compelled to accept it. But analogies in the schools, they used to ask this nice question. That, okay, look at the cow, this cow is white. So the milk of the cow, you say it's white. That buffalo is dark black. How will the milk be? Tell. And then tell, okay, white. So black should be black. So, but no, that is, although that it sounds logical, but it is not really correct. It was assumed for a long time that if you, from a top of the tower, if you throw a ball made of wood and ball made of steel, same size, and let them fall down free on the ground, which will hit the ground first? They just like that say, well, the iron ball should hit first. No, they hit at the same time. Galileo experimented and showed. Then the logic developed that why it happens like this. But normally a person would just intuitively make a guesswork. It sounds reasonable that that iron thing is very heavy and so it will hit the ground first. It doesn't. So Arjuna thought that, well, that Lord's arguments are good maybe, but is it real something or just trying to weave a web of these nice analogies and arguments around me? It is, if a person is intelligent, then we used to make fun of rather an old lady. She used to sit outside our college there in Nagpur and then would sell some very like little fruits, this blackberries and blueberries and various types of this. So we would buy one of them. Hey, what is the price of this? Okay, for 4 annas, you take this much. Okay, we take it. And then, well, what is the price of that one? That looks better. That also 4 annas. Okay, take this back and give us that one. Okay, that one I take and then start walking. Hey, my 4 annas. I would make a perplexing face. What 4 annas? No, this you should. Well, don't you remember I returned that 4 annas thing? Okay, then pay for that. She wouldn't leave. Pay for that one. Well, I am not taking that, so why should I pay for that which I didn't take? But she wouldn't let that go. She knows that something has gone from her shop and she needs to get money for it. So the argument, she didn't have the skills to counter the argument, but she wouldn't let us go without paying, because whatever it may be, you can keep on arguing. I want my 4 annas, that's it. So Arjuna was feeling that this is just an argument, or can it be experienced? So it is, Lord Krishna tells that what I was telling you as an intellectual argument, an understanding, a rational understanding, this has to be experienced. This can be experienced. This is the 39th verse in the 2nd chapter. Esha te abhihita sankhye buddhi yoge tu imam shruno buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. That what I had been telling you as a rational way of understanding the truth, now I am telling you how that very thing can be actually practically experienced in life. That is called yoga. Yoga means this converting our intellectual understanding into practical experience. That is yoga, means put things in practice. It is like that. You read about, say, any skill, you understand how it is done. Now start practicing. Yeah, I read about playing piano. That doesn't mean I will be an expert pianist immediately, but you know how to put it into practice. Gradually work on it. So gradually you will get the skills. You will become a master pianist. It is practical. Theory and practice, they have to go hand in hand. Vedanta is a practical science. You understand theoretically and then do it practically. So how to put this in practice? And that is a great undertaking, what is called karma yoga. Do your work. You have to do your work. Arjuna is thinking that, okay, so all this self is real, the world is, these bodies are unreal, okay, but how to experience this? And he gets a kind of a shock treatment that you have to do it by keeping on doing your duties. These many verses after that, this 39th verse, they all are about this great idea that you have to keep on working. It is told that it is as an example, I will take this 47th verse, that it gives a fourfold formula of practicing karma yoga. That karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhu mate sangostva karmani. To work alone you have the right, but never claim its results. Let not the results of action be your motive, nor be attached to inaction. So this is a great secret of conflict resolution about our works, that it is working and expecting the result. They are really two things. You give all your 100% into the work that you are doing. But do not think that you will get all this result that you were aspiring for. You may get, you may not get. It is not in your power. You work. To work you have the right. The result is produced by so many different factors. All need to combine to give the result. But your working is one aspect of it. Do it. So to work you have the right, not to the results thereof. What it means is also get detached from it, so that you will do your work well. If while working your mind is on the result, then you cannot put your attention fully in work. You keep on daydreaming about it. That okay, this will happen like this, then I will get this, then I will get that, and thus the attention on work gets reduced, attention on results becomes prominent, and the result therefore is the work is not done properly, the result also goes down the drain. It is commonly seen, especially when you are taking up some endeavor with lot of expectations. The students, they are studying with a lot of expectations. Let me study this nicely. There is unfortunately in our system of education too much emphasis on examinations, studying for examination. It is a completely wrong idea, turned upside down. Examination is to see how much you have learned. That is not the purpose of studying. Purpose of studying is to learn, and examination is for seeing how much you have learned. Like you say cook rice and then examine whether it is cooked or not. So you take a grain and press, hey, I examined. And what do you do after that? Throw the rice? You haven't cooked the rice for examination. You have cooked the rice for eating. But then our studying for exam. I have exam, so I am studying. That the study is for learning. Exam is to test whether you have learned or not learned. So the emphasis on exam, what happens with that is, then you start thinking, I will get very good grades, I am studying nicely, so then I will get the best grades, then I will be praised by all people, and then I will get an opening into a big school, and then I will get lot of scholarships, then I will become this and this and this. Already the attention from study has taken a beating. So it is gone. So karmanyeva adhikaraste, your field, your domain is to work. Don't think about the results. It is, one may question, it appears to be very difficult in the beginning. How can one be motivated to work unless there is this hope of rewards, hope of some good results? With that alone we work. That yes, if that is not there, then there will not be any motive to do the right work. It sounds on the surface of it to be true, because most of us, we are habituated to work like slaves, and we work only when there are incentives or there is the fear of punishment. We do not have that capability of working independently. It is that is why it appears impossible. Where is the motivation for work? Where is the incentive for work? We keep this is a habit. This is a bad habit that we have gotten into. Well, you work, you work. Don't look at those things. Those things will come automatically. Unless we hope for work, unless we hope for great results, well, how can I get the motivation for work? Well, firstly, your hoping doesn't give you the results. Your work gives you the results. Otherwise, everybody can hope for getting $1 million. It is just because you hope, do you get that? No, it is your work that will give you the results, not what you hope. Everybody then can hope whatever you say. That is, it is the hope is not connected with what you get, but your work is connected with that. So you just pay attention to your work, and that will, whatever fruits it bears, let it bear. Be not attached to it. And it is a great training. Yoga is a training, It is a gradual process of absorbing it. Training and education are therefore the two terms used. Education and training. That education, you learn things intellectually. Training means you do it, gradually you attain expertise in it by repeatedly doing it. So the yoga is a training that learn to work without looking at what will be the result, and do it. Try to do it as good as you can. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. Just by doing that, you will see this is something that needs to be really experienced. It is very difficult to make somebody believe in this without actually doing it. It is like you cannot make a person just believe that you can ride a bicycle and as you ride gradually you will get the balance. It is just, no, I will fall, you see, it is, and you fall initially. It is but try, and you will see that after a few attempts, and you are able to now ride the bicycle well. So it is, when you do, you know that automatically lot of conflicts are gone. You focus on the work. Okay, let me do my work. I am doing my work to the best of my ability. Why do I need to bring other worries right now? Do I not have worries already enough? Do I need to buy more worries? It is, why do we need to buy more headaches? Shalini, do we need more headaches? No, we do not have to go and buy headaches. So it is worrying about the results is buying the headaches. So don't do that. Don't buy headaches. It is do your work. Work, you have the right. Do it. The results will be there. This is the basic principle of science. And science depends on what? Cause and effect. Take care of the cause, effect will be there. If you keep on thinking about the effect, you will not handle the cause properly. Your attention will be shifted from cause to the result, effect, and thus you will spoil both. So this is a matter that needs to be learned by practice. The mind becomes so calm down when you are not worried about results. It is If say Koel is to play sitar, and she is rodeo, there will be lot of people to listen to my sitar, and then, oh my goodness, how will they appreciate, and then how should I do, and whether, so already, and when they appreciate me, what they will say to me, and if she keeps on thinking about it, and then what will happen? Already she becomes nervous, and then she will not be able to present a good performance. It is therefore, if she is calm, okay, let people think whatever, they have their freedom to think. I have my freedom to play, and then whole attention is then put in the playing. You forget yourself. You and the music become one. You are not worried that how the listeners are, appreciating or not appreciating. And thus it has to come good, because your attention now is right on the work and not on the result. So this is what a great lesson in keeping our minds calm. In day-to-day work, when we put it in practice, we know how calm one becomes, and the conflicts are resolved. What happens if we keep on thinking of results? That is the next part of this verse. Ma karma phala heturgo. That is how you keep on accumulating the karma, the bondage. Here the word karma means bondage. You keep on accumulating bondage by just thinking that you are doing it and this will be the result that you will be getting. Thus you become the cause for more bondage. Don't be that. It is do your work and that's it. Then you will not incur the bondage. And this is the assurance given by Krishna, and it is very logical. When you are just doing your duty and you do not incur the good or bad results of karma and the bondage that ensues from there. You work to get freedom. You do not incur the bondage by doing work like this. So it is, and then do not get attached to inaction. That is the master stroke. I was telling in the morning that in this you see the Krishna is a master psychologist, knows exactly how we will be thinking that, oh my goodness, then I have to do the work, not expect the results and so forth. Very difficult, the results get expected. So why do anything? Just let me not do anything. That is the worst thing that you will do. You will get attached to inaction. Becoming lazy is the worst thing that can happen. Becoming if not possible for you to work without getting attached to result, okay, do work with expectation of result. And that is better than becoming indolent, lazy and all that, you say. That is the worst thing, that inaction. It appears to be like a sage situation, and not working anything, not desiring anything. No, this person is at the opposite end of the spectrum, not at all anywhere near a sage, who may be doing all work and yet is calm, doesn't go running about, no need for anything. But this person has all these many desires, bottleneck, and so nothing gets scope, so doesn't work, This is, one is what is called Sattva Guna, and the other is the Tamo Guna. Both look similar. The darkness, it is all, it is in Karma Yoga book, Swami Vivekananda therefore tells this incident that one young man came to him and wants to become a monk. Now he said, "Oh, can you tell lies?" No, I don't. Can you steal? No, I don't steal. Then okay, learn, to tell lies first. Then he said, I was joking, but the person that was standing before me was very lazy and thought that becoming a monk is a very good way of avoiding all work. So for that, because otherwise who gets free lunch? And Swamis, they are entitled, to get free lunch. So it is, how you want to become? So it is, so let me become a Swami, so I will not have to take all these responsibilities, this burden, all these works and so forth. So that is why he had come. So Swamiji could easily see through this and so said, well, can you tell lies? The person didn't have that much also intellectual function to tell a lie. Not that he was not telling lies because of any moral thing. Not telling lies because telling lie requires an activity, brain truth automatically comes. Lie means you have to make it up. So he was not able to tell lies because of that. So the idea here is, do not, for any reason, do not get attached to inactivity. Because that is the worst thing that can happen. Do something. If you cannot do without expectation, then do with expectation. Fine. You will gradually come to see that how the expectations become a hurdle. So, but this is very important. So next thing he tells there, that it is these are all great verses. It is, so this is one level of where you see the conflicts can be resolved. And this is the science of Karma Yoga. It gradually brings the expertise. Why Karma Yoga is so important? Because everybody works. There is nobody here who does not work. Everybody, even she also does lot of work. And do you not do work in? You do work, yeah. Everybody works. Everybody is busy. Nobody has time. Why? Well, I have to work. Lot of work is pending. We all have a lot of work to deal with. And so, this is what we anyway are doing. Now do it in the right way, so that instead of becoming the cause of bondage, it will become instrument of freedom. To convert work into an instrument of freedom, and that is the beauty of Karma Yoga. So therefore that yoga is called the skill in action. The skill in action, yoga karmasu kaushalam. That is what Lord says here in the second chapter. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Just three great words that the work, its very tendency is to bind you. its natural tendency is to pile up bondage upon you. But skill, if you learn the skill, then you will do work but will not get bound. That is the skill. So here skill does not mean that doing your work nicely, if you are a surgeon, and do your work of surgery very successfully to cure the patient and so forth. But that is not the skill that is being spoken of here. That of course is taken for granted, that must be there. But a skill is this yoga, so that you will do the work without the work being able to put a bondage around you. In fact, it will become an instrument of freedom. So this is called yoga of action, and this is the skill of doing work. Do the work in a very skillful way, means it will not be able to bind you. In Sri Ramakrishna Leela Prasanga, there are some of these those old songs, Bengali songs, that express this idea that how is this skill, and that it is like making a frog, tie a frog, and when a snake's mouth opens, just put it in the snake's mouth, and put that frog in the snake's mouth. But before the snake closes the mouth, take it out. You need skill for that. Of course, it is. The snake is trying to catch the frog. Now it opens the mouth. So you put the frog and let the frog go in its mouth. But be careful that as soon as the snake is about to close, take it out, so that you are doing the work in a skillful way, that the snake is not able to catch that frog. Sri Ramakrishna gave some practical examples also, that it is, look at these days that scene is not seen much. It is, I don't think, maybe in some villages in Bengal you may still find it, some remote villages. But those days it was a common scene that people would go to those who would be the husking of the rice. That lady would be husking the rice with the husking pestle. That husking pestle will keep on getting pounded. That rice would get, paddy would get pounded by it, the rice would come out. So she keeps on doing that work. And while she is doing that, she is also nursing her little baby. Same time she is talking to the customers and telling, okay, you can take this 2 pounds, and you didn't pay from the last time you took it on credit. All that she is managing, and every time one hand is pushing the paddy in that little hole, and the other. So even a slight mistake would make that pestle fall on her fingers, shattering them. So, but she is doing it so skillfully. So that is how we have to do this work. Work. Do not get caught in that. So we can do it. It is, we have to acquire that skill. One has to practice. Okay, let me work without and getting attached to the results, and thus the life will get illumined. In the same chapter, then comes the question, again a matter of conflict, that okay, suppose I get this wisdom, how will my life become if I practice yoga nicely and after a few years then I got that wisdom. Now how the life changes? Is there any tangible difference between the life of a wise person and life of an ignorant person? Because if there is no difference, then why go for that knowledge? Arjuna, very practical guy, you say. So it is, and just because this is knowledge and it is nice to get knowledge and you will become a wise person, well, what are the tangible benefits of that knowledge? What is the difference between the life of an ordinary guy and a guy established in this wisdom? Is there a difference? And Arjuna therefore asked a very pointed question. This itself is a topic for a full big retreat. These verses, that they are called Sthita Prajna Lakshan, the signs of a person established in that knowledge or wisdom. And the question Arjuna asks is, well, how this person walks, how this person talks, kim stitadhi kim prabhasheta, kim asita vrajeta kim, how this person sits. What it points is the ordinary actions that of a person. A wise person, how does it do? I mean, we just walk with feet down, head up. Does this person, because of wisdom, starts walking in the reverse, means head down and walks on the hands? And no, it is, where is the difference? I mean, we talk, this man also talks, where is the difference? We eat, that fellow also eats. Where is the difference in that person's eating and my eating? So, how the life changes because of this wisdom. See, Arjuna is very practically oriented person. He is not going to buy anything without any tangible benefits coming out of it. So what is the benefit? If there is no difference in life, maybe this fellow gets the degree that you are a PhD in Karma Yoga. Okay, got a degree. What difference did it make? Did it make any difference in life? If not, then why go for it? And Krishna tells, well, there is a big difference. Completely changed life, an illumined life. The difference is within, not outside. Outside the difference is, but not exactly as you are thinking. What difference, all these light fixtures here. Suppose the switch is turned off and on. When it is turned off and when it is turned on, what happens? And those light fixtures, do they increase in size? No. Do they change in shape? No. Only they become illumined. They start glowing. Otherwise they are dark, now they start glowing. So this is the difference. The life as such looks same. One big difference. Look at the way that normally our minds work, that we keep on goaded into work through desires. We do everything propelled by desires, and thus that is a big bondage around us, and that creates all sorts of conflicts in one's life. This person does all those things, but without a trace of desire in it. It is, you eat, this person also eats. Where is the problem in it? Okay, yeah. But you eat with desire. This person eats because of the need of food, that's all. This person is eating as if you put fuel in the car. The car tank, so gas tank you put fuel, not with great gusto or emotions like that. It is just fuel that is put in the body, and that's about it. So no desires. That is the cardinal point. Because desires, they are signs of imperfection. Here the wisdom has removed all imperfection. And desire means imperfection. If you are perfect, then you don't have lack of anything. You don't lack anything. You will not have desire. Desire means you are not perfect. So this person, because of this wisdom that I am the all-pervading, eternal, immortal self, does not want anything and does all these works, yet free from desires. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. And yet all the desires have been removed, but our association with desires is funny. We feel that the desires bring happiness to us. Like if there are no desires, the life will become kind of unhappy life. Olina will think, look, I get desire to eat ice cream. Then therefore I go and get ice cream. Then I get the happiness of eating ice cream. If I have no desire for eating ice cream, I will not go to get ice cream. I will not eat ice cream, and I will miss the joy that comes from it. So if there are no desires, the life will be kind of a drab, listless, joyless life. It is a wall, like a wall. What is that? It is not very interesting prospect that by knowledge you will become an insensitive wall, no desires. Therefore Lord says, no, what I mean is this person is full of joy. But the joy is not coming from anything outside. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. This person has found the real source of joy, and therefore, and that being in oneself does not have any craving for anything outside. No craving at all there. The joy, the source of joy is found. Desires do not bring any new joy. Like Olina gets the desire for eating ice cream, then what happens? Before she had that desire, she was fine. But when the desire came, she became, hey, I should have it. Without that, it feels like being unhappy. I want ice cream. So that want creates a tension. And when she gets the ice cream, she comes back to the same stage before she got that desire. Before that desire, she was okay. She comes back to that stage. the ice cream does not add any new happiness. It is that tension that was created by the desire, that goes away, that's all. It is, therefore, one must see that this person is perfectly happy all the time, has a mastery over oneself. It is, the life is free from all these conflicts that come due to ignorance. So therefore this is the big difference. This is what Arjuna is told, that this is the tangible benefit that one can accrue because of practicing karma yoga and becoming actually wise, being established in wisdom. So that is the great benefit that you can get. Then there will be the other conflict that will be expressed in the beginning of 3rd chapter. Arjuna's question in the 3rd chapter is that, okay, then let me just, be established in this knowledge. And in this 2nd chapter ends with this description of all this glory of this knowledge. Okay, so let me just be established in this knowledge. Why are you telling me to do all these works? As in various ways, this conflict will get discussed in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and to some extent 6th chapter too. That whether one should be working, is that better, or giving up work is better? The state of knowledge is better, or the state of work is better? Work is always fraught with problems. Why should I not just steer clear of work? So this idea does come, especially when the problems of work start sitting on your head. That it is, I would have been better off not getting into this at all. But so you feel that getting away from all work would be better, and yet Krishna is insisting that you should work. So this probably we'll see in the next lecture maybe, that how this conflict is resolved, work and going beyond work. It is, there is this work to, Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivanandaji used to tell that work to transcend work. Now you should work, but how? Then you will overcome the need to work. And you will transcend the work by doing the work. By taking up the journey, you will reach the destination. Then you don't have to take up the journey. The journey is over. Your GPS announces that not you have arrived. So now you come out of the car, now the GPS have become better. They tell it in a mild, nice voice. That earlier ones, the new ones, they had rather rough voice. So it would just say, you have arrived. So it is. So no more journey, you have reached. So work is like that, journey. Work and then transcend the work. So it is a beautiful concept. We'll try to see it in the last lecture on this topic. Any questions? So that young man has our Sayantan.
Knowledge, you have to work with your best effort. So how to So you have to love your work, whatever you are doing, right?
He is very intelligent guy, you know. So let us come out with your question.
How to do that?
How to?
How can you forcefully love your work? For example, I'm just saying, supposing your tendencies are of different kind and you are in a situation to work.
Yeah, but then you still have to work perfectly. It will not be easy to begin with. As I told, that this is something that you have to learn. It is a discipline that you have to go through. It is, and in our order, we are given certain works, and then usually you'll end up getting a work that you don't like. So, but you have to do it, you see, and you have to do it correctly because it is your spiritual practice. It is, you are offering it to God. How can you offer something that is not properly done? So you do it properly. You learn thereby that whether you like or you don't like, you do your work, not loving the work but loving the God. That is how you work. Love the God to whom this work is being offered. That is one way a devotee can understand it. Karma Yoga is a technique that suits also those who do not want to believe any God. Fine, don't believe any God. Do your work. You don't need to love it, but as a discipline, as a matter of principle, since you are doing it. If you are not doing it, forget. But if you are doing it, now you have the choice to do it well or not well. What is the better thing? Do it well. Do it well. And that will automatically take you forward. Work is a great teacher. When you work, one nice example the Swami gave, that work trains you. And that is why it is called hands-on training. It is, you work and you get trained. It was told that you do, your dishes, and you do the dishes, and while you clean the dishes, of course if you have not put on the gloves, then without taking any extra effort, your hands also get cleaned. So work has that, it molds you. The first chapter in Swamiji's book on Karma Yoga, a great chapter, work, in its effect on character. That aspect of work is studied in Karma Yoga, where work positively changes the worker. Work has effects outside, of course, but that is not a matter of study in Karma Yoga. The Karma Yoga studies that aspect of work, where the work brings about positive changes in the worker. So that is how, if you do not do work in the right way, still it brings that changes in you. You either become negligent, you get irritated, you just develop a kind of wrong attitude towards working. So that also is an effect that you get, and that then spills over in your whole life. But if you do the work, as Bhagavad Gita has told, don't worry about the results, don't worry about praise or blame. Whether you are successful or not, don't worry about it. Keep on doing it. it is then gradually you work. I remember I used to play that ping pong table at the university level, so we had a coach. So, and I was getting frustrated, that I hit the ball very nice while practicing. Somehow it gets in the match. They end up hitting the net or they go over. So the coach said, see, no, practice, the only thing is practice. Do not pay attention, do not talk about it is why are they getting hit in the net and or getting out? Because you are not practicing well. Just keep on hitting. Do not worry about what will happen in the match. Practice now. And that is how I found that how helpful it is. That your hands get training, your whole every finger, every single nerve then works in accordance with that. So for hours he would just tell me to hit exactly in a particular way, so that I get that training, how to hit and where the ball should land. And then in the match also it shows up. But if you are just thinking about the match, then you miss both. So that is how work to the best of your ability. That's it, Nobody else has any questions?
One question, Maharaj.
Huh?
One question.
Oh, I thought you had all questions.
Maharaj, like in the so I was thinking, like as you were describing karma yoga and to me, I think there is an importance of association. So for example, my weakness is that if the order comes from someone that I can connect with, then the work becomes easier for me. Whereas if the order comes from someone that I don't connect with, then it's difficult.
It is the problem is because here the likes and dislikes play a big role. You like a person, so the instructions or the order from that person, okay, you do very good work. But then if you don't like somebody, and then if that person tells you don't do the work properly, because the irritation about that person seeps into your work also. That one has to overcome this tendency. It happens doesn't mean it should happen. The whole practice is to change from what is to what it should be. It should be that whosoever tells you, do you have any control over it? You don't have any control over it. So when it comes to you again, you have the choice to do it well or to do it bad. What will you choose? Why? I understand that in spite of our understanding this, the likes and dislikes come into our mind and start making that unsavory deletions there. But we have to work to keep them out. It is again a matter of practice. It is. That is why they say you have to adopt a professional attitude. Profession, when you are dealing with somebody in a professional way, what it means that okay, a doctor, somebody has come to the doctor as patient. So limit your association with that person at that level to the best of your ability, and in a way that yes, you can do maximum service to that person. You don't have to worry whether that person is white or black, whether you like the face or you don't like the face, whether that person is wealthy or not wealthy, whether that person has whatever other family history, those things you just push them aside, and so that is what you have to do. If somebody is in a position to give you the order for the work, you don't have to worry about that person, who is that. It is, say that person, a screen is giving you the order, that's it. Yes, Girish?
So, in our work, should we try to stick to our work, or what's the take on like changing positions or changing jobs? We should try to stick to our position and keep on doing work.
Well, if I didn't say stick to your position, but if you are in a position, do the work that is connected with that position. If you change the position, now you do the work with the changed position. But while you are in a position, it will not be right to do injustice to the work that you are doing there. Very good.
But Maharaj, to that point, changing the job will also have that likes and dislikes coming in.
Yes, they will come in. That, but if it is, there are so many things about likes and dislikes. It is, if you can push them aside, it is very good. Also, there is what can be called as conducive to your skills, conducive to the schedule that you want to follow, conducive for say your other commute and other things. And that is there, yeah. You can not necessarily always like and dislike. You may like this job too, but then that is going to be more comfortable, that is going to pay you more, and it is, you are not doing that work as a charity. So if somebody is paying you more, go for it. But while you are working at one place, do full justice to it. Do not try to cheat there. It is, and when you are in a different, better position, okay, there also you do the same work. Gradually one understands that nothing much is different, you know. If you get $1,000 more a month, then you, before you know, they get spent, you see. It is not that you feel that, wow, now I am living a very good life, I got $1,000 more in my pocket, and the money finds its way out very quickly. Without, you may just buy a new car because now you have money. So, and that money is gone already. It is not that it has brought any special quality to your life, but just for that. It is, so therefore it is good. Many times more money means more problems. So you have to think about that also. It is, some do spoil their life just because they had more money than they can use. It is like taking more food than we can digest. Actually it is like that. One doesn't feel it, but it is really getting more money is then you can properly spend, because the spending capabilities of people are different. And that person who is used to spend only say this much amount suddenly gets 10 times more, will not finding what to do with it, will just use that money for one's own detriment. It is terrible. That Kabir's doha is there. I like that doha. The language is somewhat scathing language. That पानी बढ़े नाव में, पानी बढ़े नाव में, घर में बढ़े दाम. दोहू हाथ उलीचिए यही सयानो काम. That getting water in your boat, you are rowing the boat and getting water in the boat and getting more money in the home. In both cases, the wise person what should do? Only one thing: get out that thing quickly, otherwise the boat and the house will sink. It is really true, although one doesn't think it in that term. Okay, I think we have to meet. At what time is the next?
6:30.
6:30. Okay, you have just a little time to get yourself teed and snagged.